This podcast is sponsored by ebookit.com, self-publishing solutions for the independent author and small press. Visit us today at ebookit.com. Welcome to the Toastmasters podcast, the official podcast of Toastmasters International. Hello everybody, my name is Bo Bennett, and welcome to the 2017 International Convention Preview Podcast. This is a two-part podcast where we are going to be speaking with 8 very exciting and motivated individuals who are going to be telling us about their session at the International Convention coming up on August 23rd through 26th at the Vancouver Convention Centre in Vancouver, British Columbia. This first part, we're going to be starting with Diane Ciotta. We're going to be speaking with Delatorro McNeal II, then Sandra McDowell, then Shailee Basnet. Then in part 2, we're going to be speaking with Kindra Hall, Muhammad Ali Shukri, Mark Hunter, and David Dye. For these interviews, I'll be joined by my co-hosts Ryan Levesque and Greg Gazin. Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be educational and a lot of fun.
We are joined now by Diane Ciotta. Diane is a professional speaker and entrepreneur, and on Friday, August 25th, she's going to be presenting a session at the International Convention called Life is Like a Sales Call. Welcome, Diane.
Welcome, Diane.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
Diane, tell us, what is your session all about? Life is Like a Sales Call.
So Life is Like a Sales Call is kind of a playoff on what has always been proven to be successful in a sales professional's life in terms of meeting needs of their prospects and applying those same principles to everyday situations. We find ourselves competing, lobbying, negotiating for things all the time, things that we want to have, see, do, persuade other people to see our point of view. And while persuasion happens naturally, unfortunately, it's not always happening effectively. So as sales professionals will tell you, the first thing they have to do is sell themselves and then sell their product, their service, or their idea. So as outside of the box as it might seem, if we apply those same principles to day-to-day life scenarios, we really can increase our odds of getting what we want to have or do and the things that we want, and at the same time meeting needs of other people.
Something in your session description struck me, intrigued me. It says that a key philosophy in sales is to sell from your heart, not from your head. Can you expand upon that a little bit?
Absolutely. The bottom line is really not a matter of putting our focus on what we get out of a sell. So I expand on that by saying, sell from your heart, not from your head, and to not just make a sale, but make a difference. And how true is that not only in the sales world and as a professional selling, but also in everyday life? If we act with our heart and not with our head in situations, we find that there can be more of a mutually beneficial result. And so as a result of that thought process, we can also say, let's just not just, make something happen, but let's make a difference in everything we do.
All right. So if you were selling a widget, how would you sell a widget from your heart? Give us a quick example.
A quick example of that would be to put aside my objective of selling the widget and look at the person that I was proposing to sell that widget to and ask that person questions about what might benefit them in buying that widget. So if I can get myself focused on asking them questions, taking a more consultative approach and saying, hey, what about this aspect of your life or that aspect of your life, or if it was in a professional situation, this aspect of your business, could you benefit from? And then fitting that need that person has with that widget, whatever that widget might be.
I see. So it's really about being genuinely concerned for the other person's needs and wants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in doing so, what happens is that person then is drawn to you more. So if you're in a situation where you engage with that person over and over again, be it in a professional or even in a personal situation, it increases their desire to want to be with you and want to work with you and exchange ideas or take advantage of whatever opportunities you can provide them. So it really sets us up not only for a successful initial encounter, but for long-term opportunities with that person, with that group, with that family member, even in situations where we're dealing with people with differences of opinions, or even with people that we see on a regular basis, whether we want to or not.
Great. All right. And one question for you. What do you kind of envision, or what should people expect going to your session? Is it going to be something interactive? Is it going to be kind of lecture style? What did you have in mind?
Well, I like to call it participative lecture. That's kind of my style, where the audience has an opportunity to be involved, but they're also hearing tidbits of information that hopefully will make a difference for them, as my presentation is the same from my heart and not from my head. And we're going to go through different aspects of communication. We're going to talk about verbal, nonverbal, even electronic communications, which is so much a part of our lives today. We're going to talk about putting our heart into everything we do, being open-minded to learning new things, and all about the integrity, because so much a part of my presentation and my message is about integrity, commitment, accountability, and energy. And my personal style is that I like to say I have a lot of Jersey sarcasm and Italian passion, because that's really all about me. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to do it in a real energetic and highly motivated way. At the same time, there's going to be some takeaways and hopefully some application for everybody that attends to be able to go back and just make a difference in everything that they do day in and day out, both personally as well as professionally.
Great.
Sounds like a fantastic session, Diane. Where can folks go to learn more about you in the meantime?
Well, my website is of my name, DianeCiotta.com, and Ciotta is Ciotta. And there'll be some information there, I'm sure. And also, if anybody wants to, send me an email directly. If they have any other additional questions, they can write me at Di, which is the name I go by, Di, at DianeCiotta.com.
Well, thank you very much for being with us. This was wonderful.
Certainly appreciate the opportunity, and looking forward to seeing everybody in Vancouver in August.
All righty. Take care, Diane.
Thanks, Diane. Our guest is the keynote speaker for the International Convention, peak performance expert Delatorro McNeal II. Delatorro is ranked as one of the best motivational speakers in the world. He's quickly becoming a living legend in the speaking industry. At the ripe age of 40, Delatorro's speaking resume reads like that of someone twice his age. A 10-plus year member of the National Speakers Association, Delatorro is one of the youngest certified speaking professionals in the world. He's a repeat main platform keynote speaker for the prestigious $1 Million Roundtable. As a global television personality, Delatorro has been featured on national and worldwide television networks, including Fox, ABC, NBC, BET, TBN, Daystar, and Oxygen. In 2016, Delatorro became the executive producer and star of The Keynote, a brand new inspirational business reality TV show based on the speaking industry. He is the best-selling author of more than 6 books and a dozen personal development materials. Delatorro holds a master's degree in human performance enhancement. Delatorro McNeal II, welcome to the Toastmasters podcast.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This is an epic honor to be here with you and Bo. I'm really, really excited about this wonderful opportunity. We're going to have a blast.
We sure are.
Yeah. So Delatorro, you are, as I said, giving the keynote at the International Convention. It is Wednesday, August 23rd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the title of your keynote is Toastmaster to Top Speaker. And as I was reading the session description here, the first line says, "Get ready for the Delatorro experience."
That's right.
So to kick us off here, can you give us a taste of what is the Delatorro experience?
It's a fantastic question. And I got to be honest with you guys. I'm like pinching myself, man. This is a bucket list vision board dream come true for me. I have been literally the poster child for Toastmasters. I've been the unofficial, unpaid spokesperson for Toastmasters for over 15 years. I'm telling you, I'm so honored to be the opening keynote speaker for the 2017 Toastmasters World Convention. It's going to be an epic time, and I'm literally crafting a brand new keynote just for the Toastmasters organization. And so one of the things about the Delatorro experience is I never give the same presentation twice, because I believe that every audience is different. Even when I'm invited to, speak at a certain venue, and they say, "Hey, can you do two presentations on the same day, or do this and do a breakout, or do the same breakout twice, or whatever." I always give a different presentation, because I believe one of the keys, one of the hallmarks to being an incredible communicator is you must sense your audience. And I believe it's really, really important that you also not just sense your audience, but I believe it's really important that you deliver to that specific audience what they need in the moment. And so because of that, I didn't want to just pull something off the shelf and deliver it to the Toastmasters World Convention. I'm literally crafting a brand spanking new keynote presentation just for the attendees of the 2017 convention. And so the Delatorro experience is a multi-sensory, experiential type of a keynote. It's not one where you just kind of sit down and you just kind of take notes. It's one where you're taking notes, you're interacting with the person next to you, you're talking back to me. It's one where there's going to be some music, there's going to be it's going to be movement. I mean, it's one of those where you use your body, where you use your physicality to get involved in the presentation. It's going to be incredible.
You're going to make us work.
I'm going to make you work. You know, I tell audiences all the time, I said, I'm not going to be the only one sweating.
Right. Man, well, I can sense your enthusiasm. It's coming across loud and clear here. What, in addition to the excitement and motivational factor that I'm sure is going to be present in your keynote, what's some of the content? What are some of the things you're going to teach us?
Well, one of the things that I'm really most excited about is I'm a peak performance expert. So while motivation is a style, right, I don't really pin myself as a motivational speaker because I'm about the result. I'm about the end result. I really believe, honestly, that if we want to manifest and achieve any goal, top corporations around the world, top associations around the world hire us to come in and work with their top executives, their C-suite executives, work with their sales teams, work with their customer service organizations and teams. The reason why we get hired to come and work with organizations is because we focus on results. And that's what peak performance is your ability to top yourself every single day. I really believe that life gives us one open invitation every day, and it comes in the form of a question. Will you be better today than you were yesterday? And so one of the things that I encourage everyone to do, in every audience all around the world, is just get 1% better every single day. And as a peak performer, as a high achiever, which nobody is a member of Toastmasters unless they're a high achiever. The only people attracted to the Toastmasters brand are people who want to be the best. They want to be the best in their communities, in their companies, in their organizations, in their families, right? In their careers, right? As spouses or significant others. They want to be the best. They want to take their presentation game to the next level. They want to take their leadership game to the next level. So in my presentation, I'm literally going to be teaching you how to go from idea to implementation, how to go from cognition to creation, from thinking to trying, from dreaming to doing, from wanting it to walking that thing out. Because I'm a manifester, and I really believe that the highest achievers in the world are people that make the dream happen. It's one thing to dream it. It's one thing to vision board about it. It's another thing to manifest it. And I've been fortunate enough I just turned 40. I'm really excited about that. And at 40, I mean, I literally have checked off 96% of the things that most speakers spend their entire life wanting to accomplish and achieve. And I've done it at 40, and I'm very humbled by that. But watch this, Bo and Ryan, that has not come without great sacrifice. I've had tremendous challenges, tremendous adversity. And one of the things that I teach as a part of every presentation is you're not going to experience success without failure. You're not going to experience success without hardship. And so that's a part of the story. That's a part of the journey. We're going to learn how to overcome obstacles. We're going to learn how to push past limitations and things that have held us back from being our best. We're going to learn in that presentation how Toastmasters has literally been an underpinning for me in my acceleration in this industry. And I'm old school. I'm a Gen X cat, so I was raised on Boyz II Men, the Smurfs, New Edition, the Thundercats. You know,
Right.
I'm an old school cat. You know, I built my speaking career before social media. So it's interesting to watch social media now. And I love social media. I think it's incredible. And people can follow us at Delatorro on Twitter. And just, in fact, everything about me online is just based on my first name. So if you just search Delatorro, you'll find everything about me on social media. And so I encourage everybody to follow me. I greatly appreciate that. But one of the things that I've really learned is, as an old school cat, I was groomed in this industry by the greats. So Dr. Stephen Covey was a mentor of mine. Zig Ziglar was a mentor of mine. Dr. Willie Jolly and Les Brown have been incredible mentors of mine. These are amazing individuals, Dr. John Maxwell. So I was groomed by the greats. And so while I'm still young enough to be relevant to, the 20 and 30-year-old crowd, because I built my career in the beginning days speaking at colleges and universities, the good thing is that because I was groomed by the greats, those in their 40s, 50s, and 60s can resonate with me because I've got those old school principles. So I'm kind of like the best of both worlds, You can get some old school and some new school put together.
Right. A lot of those names you just dropped, by the way, as I'm sure you know, are people who have graced the stage at international conventions for Toastmasters.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I say I'm pinching myself, because it's a huge, epic honor and a wonderful opportunity. So I'm very, very grateful. So the Delatorro experience and the content that we're going to be covering is really going to push everybody's limits in terms of what it means to be the best in whatever it is that you do and whatever it is that you aspire to in your life, how to be the best at it. Because I believe that that's really what we all want, regardless of our culture, our race, our creed, our sexual orientation, our socioeconomic status. One thing that I've found speaking all over the world is that I've realized that we're way more similar than we are different. We have so much more in common than we do different. We might be wrapped in different skin, and we might have different dialects. But at the end of the day, we all want a lot of the same stuff. We all want to be loved. We all want to contribute. We all want to make a difference. We all want to grow. We all want to connect with other people. We all want to go from an idea in our head to living that thing out in our lives. And I have chill bumps on my body right now because I literally am fortunate enough to literally have taken ideas in my mind and manifest them, like my reality show, the Keynote. I used to watch, The Apprentice, and I used to watch all these amazing these business reality shows like Shark Tank and Hell's Kitchen and all these great shows. And I was like, man, these shows are incredible. And I love the mentoring that was involved in that process. And mentors are who helped me be who I am today. And so I said, man, I love keynoting and I love speaking, but I also have had a passion for television for 20 years. And so I made a decision to do something that was never done before and create the first inspirational business reality television show based upon the speaking industry. And guess what? The very first challenge that I make my contestants go through on the Keynote is they've got to go to a Toastmasters club and they've got to give their A game in front of Toastmasters. And that's a hallmark for me, because at the end of the day, table topics and ums, ers, and ahs and word of the day and all the things that we do in making sure that we follow the agenda and stay on time, and all these things that we do in our Toastmasters meetings are not just things to do. They're a way of life. They're a way of succeeding in business. And Warren Buffett has gone on record as saying that his public speaking course was literally the best business decision he ever made. And he challenges all of his top business students, right, to make sure that they take a public speaking course through Toastmasters. And so I firmly believe with everything in me that if we want to be the best, I and we're going to talk about this in my keynote, you got to get rid of the ums, ers, and ahs in your business. You got to get rid of the ums, ers, and ahs in your brand. You got to get rid of the ums, ers, and ahs in your sales presentation, right? Because at the end of the day, these are the things that trip us up from being able to be our best. And that's one of the things I'm really, really excited about delivering, is showing people how to be the best at what it is that they want to do. Show them how to go from an idea to manifesting their vision, even if they've never seen it before. Because so many times we think that an idea or a dream, you have to have seen someone do it before. And that's not necessarily true. I believe that a trailblazer is someone who literally takes a different path, who does something different, who goes down a different road, right? The road less traveled, right? There was two roads diverged in a wooden eye. I took the one less traveled by, and that's made all the difference. And so for me, Ryan and Bo, taking a non-conventional road in this industry. When I started out in this industry, I was 22 when I started in the professional speaking industry. And what gave me the confidence to start out at 22 years old was because I was a member of Seminole Toastmasters in grad school. So in grad school and college, I was a member of Seminole Toastmasters right there in Tallahassee, Florida, because I went to Florida State University. And my mentor at the time was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Lee Jones. And Dr. Lee Jones was an associate dean for academic affairs and instruction at the College of Education. And he was an itinerant speaker on the side. And so one of the things Dr. Jones encouraged me to do, he says, if you want to do what I do one day, you got to learn how to develop your speaking skills and really polish them. And so I got involved in Seminole Toastmasters in graduate school, and that was my start. And it just began to grow and cultivate from there. But I really want to encourage people that whatever they dream, they can manifest if they're willing to put in the work. And I also want to encourage people that there's a beginning place and there's an end place that you can arrive at. But at the end of the day, it's not about the destination. It's also about really learning to love the journey. And Ryan and Bo, I got to tell you, it's been an amazing journey that we've been on over these last 40 years. And I can't wait to share it with your audience.
That sounds great. I'm pumped. How about you, Ryan?
Absolutely. I can imagine, Delatorro, you're not someone who runs out of things to say during table topics, filling that 2 minutes.
You know what? It's funny because, and I challenge my speakers to do something, because I train speakers, authors, and coaches, and I have a program that I do called Crush the Stage, where I train speakers, authors, and coaches, and one of the things that I make them do is something called Quick on the Quotes. And in my reality show, it's called Quick on the Quotes as well. And Quick on the Quotes is a spinoff of Table Topics. It's I give them a quote, and I give them 2.5 minutes to expound on the quote and wrap their brand around the quote, and they got 2.5 minutes to do it. And one of the things that and so it's funny because to this day, when I go to a Toastmasters club, if I'm taking my students in there to teach them or show them how to make how to improve their skills, I get nervous every time I do Table Topics. Why? Because I believe that the moment you stop getting nervous as a speaker, the moment you just phone it in is the moment that you die. And one of the things that I teach people is to not be nervous, but I give them a new phrase. I say, instead of saying you're nervous, why don't you say this? I want you to say that I have a healthy anticipation of an incredible outcome. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
Anticipation of an incredible outcome. And I really believe that that's all it is. The butterflies in our stomach will fly in formation when we really believe that we just have a healthy anticipation of an incredible outcome. And so that's really what I want to show people how to do. I want the people that, and that's why they've got to register right now for the 2017 World Convention. And you better be at every single thing, and you better not miss that opening. It's going to be absolutely remarkable. And I really, really firmly believe that people are going to fall in love with presentation skills at a level that they've never done before. And they're going to see how the power of public speaking and the power of presentation and the power of leadership development has played such a vital role in my success and the success of everybody that I've ever admired, learned from, and studied from. And I really firmly believe that we are very, very fortunate and blessed to be able to use the gift of oratorical excellence to impact the lives of people and to influence people all around the world. And so we're going to talk about the 6 components of a killer keynote. Probably about 75% of my business, Ryan and Bo, right now as a top speaker is repeat referral, which means I don't have to do a tremendous amount of aggressive marketing, because when I go to conferences and conventions and events, the repeat referral spinoff business from those opportunities gets us more business. So, and I share that because I know a lot of people who want to be speakers or et cetera, want to find ways, because, the internet's great, social media is great, but it's very competitive, right? So how do you stand out from the crowd? One of the ways you stand out is by giving an extraordinary killer keynote presentation. So in my keynote, I'm going to talk about those 6 components of a killer keynote that get you paid and rebooked. We're going to talk about motivational psychology. Most people call themselves motivational speakers, but really don't understand motivational psychology. My master's degree from Florida State is in instructional systems design with an emphasis in curriculum design and development and human performance. And so I understand motivational psychology, and I think it's important that if we want to go out and motivate and empower people, that we learn how to infuse motivational psychology with integrity and excellence into our presentations. So we're going to talk about that as well. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be incredible.
Cool. Now, of course, we don't want you to give away all of your secret sauce here, but can you give us a taste of one of the components of a killer keynote?
You've been experiencing part of it right now, and that's high energy. I believe that if you're going to be an incredible keynote speaker, and all 6 of the components are highs. So one of them is high energy. You've got to have high energy. And I spell energy differently than the way most people do. Most people spell energy E-N-E-R-G-Y, right? I spell energy I-N-N-E-R-G, because I believe that that inner gratitude is what gives you the inner G to get on stage and give your audience your best. So I firmly believe that every single day you wake up as a presenter, no matter where you are on the continuum of presentation skills and using your ability to present to be more effective in your career, more effective in your community, more effective in your business, more effective in running your family or your household, no matter how you use presentation skills, I firmly believe that you need to bring good energy to what you do, because at the end of the day, energy begets energy. High income doesn't flow to low energy. High opportunities don't flow to low energy. High doors don't flow to low thinking people. So high begets high. So the more we can have high inner gratitude for the gift of public speaking and presentation skills, the more we can be grateful for our audiences, the more we can understand our audience, the more we can deliver presentations that impact our audience. What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Gratitude is at the essence of the heart.
Nice. Delatorro, I watched the trailer for your television series that you mentioned, the Keynote. How can people watch the series? Where is it playing, or how's it distributed?
Yep, absolutely. So people can go right now. They can go to thekeynotetv.com. That's www.thekeynotetv.com. And if you go to thekeynotetv.com, put your name and email address in, and you'll get access to season 1 of the Keynote. It's absolutely incredible, and folks will absolutely love it. So that's thekeynotetv.com. And if people want to learn more about how we help develop speakers, they can learn more about that at crushthestagelive.com. That's crushthestagelive.com is our quarterly speaker boot camp. And we actually also have an online university, Bo and Ryan, that we've created called crushthestageuniversity.com. That's crushthestageuniversity.com. And if people want to talk to us about learning more about speaking engagements and things of that nature, they can go to my website, which is delatorro.com. That's DELATORRO.com.
All right. Thank you so much for this, Delatorro. It sounds fantastic, and people would be silly if they missed this. Just silly.
You would be crazy. Register right now. Book your flights, book your hotel, train, plane, automobile. Do whatever it takes to get, watch this, to the convention, because while the keynote is called Toastmaster to Top Speaker, I want you in your mind as you're listening to this podcast to think Toastmaster to fill in the blank. Because whatever your dream is, whatever your aspiration is, I'm going to show you how to bridge the gap between where you are to where you want to be using the power, the ethics, the excellence, the integrity, and the massive skill set that you're building as a Toastmaster to bridge the gap from being a Toastmaster to whatever your dream is. My dream was I wanted to go from being a Toastmaster to a top speaker, and I'm going to live and die as a Toastmaster. Although I'm not an active member of a club right now, I'm literally the unofficial, unpaid spokesperson, because every audience around the world, when I tell my story of how I went from, being labeled an at-risk youth in the 5th and 6th grade to becoming one of the top speakers in the world, I always mention Toastmasters. And I encourage people, if you want to build your confidence, you want to build your skill set, you want to build your ability to be successful in business, you need to join a good Toastmasters club.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for being with us. This was a great message, very inspirational, motivational. I'm pumped. Ryan's pumped. I know that. So thank you.
Tremendous honor indeed. Can't wait to see everybody in Vancouver. It's going to be incredible. Whoop, whoop.
Woohoo!
Thanks, Delatorro.
Take
Talk
care.
to you all soon.
Our next guest is Sandra McDowell. Sandra is presenting a workshop at the International Convention Friday, August 25th at 11:15 a.m. The session is titled Neuroleadership, Leading with the Brain in Mind. Sandra McDowell, welcome to the Toastmasters podcast.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Sandra, to start off, I have to say this is a new word for me, and I expect for some of our listeners as well. What is neuroleadership?
That's a great question. So neuroleadership really takes the disciplines of neuroscience and combines it with leadership and really looks at the actual brain science and talks about how a well-conditioned brain can be a catalyst for high-performance leadership.
Okay, interesting. So you're going to be presenting, I guess, not just an overview of neuroleadership, but equipping attendees to use neuroleadership techniques in their own leadership roles. Is that right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, so what we'll talk about in the session is we'll take the concept of leadership, which is a universal topic that applies to anyone, anywhere, and really look at some of the neuroscience to be able to support more effective leadership. So some of the challenges that we face in leadership is we see disengagement from employees anywhere from 40 to 65% disengagement, which says that there's something wrong with current leadership practice. So what's getting in the way of that? And what I've learned is that for the most part, people have great intentions, and there's things getting in the way of being able to achieve those intentions. And it's generally things going on in the brain, things that are working against us in terms of our effective leadership and just overall productivity.
Could you elaborate on the disengagement a little bit? What exactly does that actually mean in the terms of?
So when we have an employee group, generally speaking, we want our employees to be engaged because engaged means that they are happy to come to work and give that discretionary effort to be able to achieve the overall goals of the organization. But what we find is that not only in North America, but worldwide, there's some staggering disengagement stats that show that the majority of employees aren't engaged with their work. And when employees are disengaged, it means they're not giving that discretionary effort. And not only is 40 to 65% of employees worldwide disengaged, but there's also a part close to 20% who are actively disengaged, sort of sabotaging efforts. So there's a lot of things getting in the way for people in terms of the brain and them feeling, that they can perform their best.
Hey, whose neurobiology are we looking at? Are we looking at the neurobiology of the leader or of the employees, the ones being led?
That's a great question, but leadership always starts with self. So when we are going to lead others, we need to lead ourselves first more effectively, and understanding the brain is a catalyst for being a more effective leader. So first and foremost, understanding the things as an individual leader that are working for and against you. So some of the things that might be working against you are the ability to focus, the ability to create, effective teamwork and collaboration, and achieve real change. So with that in mind and leading by example, we can then support our teams for more effective leadership.
Okay.
Sandra, do you recommend shock treatment in the workplace for unmotivated employees?
Well, I'm not sure. We haven't gone back to that in any way, but I think, in all seriousness, I think a bit of shock treatment is bringing some of this information to the forefront, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well, people are falling farther behind on the treadmill of life in terms of keeping up. Their ability to focus, their ability to achieve in a world where we're on 24/7, it's becoming more and more challenging for people to feel productive and engaged. So when we can break that apart, and sort of maybe the shock treatment is breaking it apart and being able to understand what's going on, then we can start to build it back in a way that's more effective and conducive to the well-being of leaders themselves and those that they lead.
Okay, so to be clear, you're using shock treatment in a metaphorical sense.
Absolutely, no shock treatment.
Cool. And can you share with us, I have your bio here, but our listeners don't have that advantage. But can you share a little bit about your background and your how you got involved in this area?
Yeah, so I've been working in, the field as a leader practitioner for close to 20 years. And about a decade ago, I had the opportunity to win a national and international leadership award. And with that came a pocket of money. And with that, I went on to really dive in and understand leadership. So I took a master's in leadership, or completed a master's in leadership, as well as a certificate in neuroleadership, and attained my certified executive coach designation. So with that education and that background and that passion for leadership, for the last decade, I've been working to, first and foremost, grow myself and work within an organization as an executive for a financial institution to be able to build a leadership and coaching culture.
Awesome. Cool. So what is your vision or your hope for what you'll be able to achieve in the 1 hour that you will have a bunch of eager Toastmasters in the room at your feet?
My passion for sharing this information is really knowledge is power. So once we understand some of this information, we can start to digest it and find ways for it to fit within our own life. So if people that are participating have an opportunity to understand sort of the science or the logic behind what might be getting in their way of sort of well-being, or the connectedness within the workplace, or change and what's getting in the way of change, they can take bits of those back into their lives, into their leadership world, into their overall life in general, and start to work with them to make sustainable change.
I appreciate you coming on here today, Sandra, and
Great.
Thank you very much. Your session sounds wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to work with Toastmasters and be a part of such an amazing event.
All right. Thank you. Good speaking with you.
Thanks again.
Great. Thank you.
Our next guest is Shailee Basnet. Shailee is a Mount Everest summiter and a professional speaker, and she is presenting an educational session entitled Together We Reach Higher on Thursday, August 24th at 1:15 p.m. Shailee Basnet, welcome to the Toastmasters podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shailee, before we talk about your session, I'd like to ask you to share a thumbnail sketch of your background. You have a very unique background, and can you please share with us about it?
Well, I'm a young woman from Nepal, born and brought up in Nepal, and I just had this very coincidental, unique opportunity to climb Everest in the year 2008, along with 9 other women. And a lot of people didn't think we could make it, but we did. And after that, I became the coordinator of a women team who went on to climb the highest mountain in each continent. So starting from that, we now work to empower other women in the trekking and climbing sector.
Awesome. And your session, Together We Reach Higher, I know is related to your experience with Everest. What do you have in store for us?
So the entire journey of how a petite, barely 5-foot girl could ever think about climbing Everest and fight the socio-economic challenges, the apprehensions to get to the top of Everest. And then when we actually climbed Everest, we thought this was great and brilliant, and we did it. And then we came back down, started another mission, and thought everybody in the world would be supportive and this should happen so much more easily, and it didn't. I and my team really hit our lowest. Our struggle really started after climbing Everest. So this entire session is going to be about the highs and lows of climbing the mountains, putting them together, the lessons learned along the way, and the very interesting parallel that life itself and the mountains have. So I'm going to be sharing all about that and where we are today, working with other women and giving this trekking, climbing, outdoor skills to young women who need it the most.
Shailee, what is it that you hope attendees will walk away from your presentation with?
Just the magical journey of seeing the mountains of the world, from Everest to everything else. It's going to be a visual presentation. So I'm going to have pictures from all of our climbs, not just the summit, but the ups and downs. So I am sure people will enjoy this virtual journey of the Himalayas, of the world mountains. And in between that, every step of the mountain has so much to teach us. And I could go on and on about perseverance, patience, hydration. Like, you need to drink water if you want to climb a mountain or if you want to fall in love. It's that simple. So the lessons these mountains have been teaching us, but to put together in a nutshell, the focus of this presentation here is going to be together we reach higher. As human beings, as species, we're really designed to function the best and achieve the most when we work together. But it's easier said than done. It's not always easy to work with people. And that's why I guess we have so many problems in the world, workplace, families. So my presentation is also going to focus on the people dynamic. How can we have that big dream and work together to have that dream accomplished?
Interesting. A connection I'm making here, just hearing you say this, Shailee, is to breathing. I imagine that managing your breath is extremely important at high altitudes, even well before you get to the point of needing a mask for oxygen. And something I've become aware of is how often I don't breathe in my daily life as I'm behind my laptop working on a problem and I stop breathing. And I have to consciously force myself to take purposeful breaths.
Yeah, breathe, like break for breathing. That's true. Right. I mean, in our modern life, that is very, very true. We don't live in a society where we need to work in the farm all day or we need to walk for hours and hours to get something done anymore. So what that has made us into is take the essential small things for granted. These are all very small things. People ask me all the time, I'm so petite. I don't look like your typical climber. I'm short, I'm petite. I look much younger than my age, not a bad thing, but they're always like, oh my God, you're tiny thing. How did you climb Everest? And well, one is don't judge a book by its cover, but the other is take care of the simple basic things. Drink water, breathe well. Do not get ahead of yourself. When you're walking, always start from the pace you can do. Don't think of the Olympians or don't think of the people walking in ahead of you. You always have to keep your own pace. It's a very simple thing. But when people don't respect that, I have seen people get into problem in the high altitude all the time just because they want to catch up with somebody else. So these are very, very simple basic things, but our modern life kind of gets us disconnected with the nature sometimes, and we forget about these things. But once these basic things like sleeping well, once these things are taken care of, there's a lot more we can achieve. Like human beings are the most incredible, I guess, in achieving goals and dreams. So, but we need to take care of these foundation things first.
Sounds interesting at a number of levels, Shailee. I think you've got a fantastic presentation planned for us, and I appreciate you coming on the show today to share about it.
My pleasure, Ryan. It was great being here, and I am excited to meet all my fellow Toastmasters in Vancouver, and I can't wait to share with you the joys of the nature and the mountains of the world. So just come join.
Fantastic. Thanks again.
Isn't it about time you published that book you've been thinking about? We can help with that. At ebookit.com, we've been providing authors and small presses with ebook publishing services since 2010. Visit us today at ebookit.com and let us know how we can help you.